Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero.
Thank you for tapping into the Exclusive Minds podcast. Today we're going to be having an exclusive conversation with exclusive content from Exclusive Minds. I'm your host, Rook, and
Joe.
Let's get right into it.
All right, man. So we are back for episode 41. I think this is like another one of those. This is almost 3 weeks now, I think, right?
No.
Seems like it.
It seems like it. I think it was only 2. I think it's only been 2.
So I guess let's just jump right into it. The big thing here is we're trying to shoot video, right? So, what's up?
Yeah, I think this is it, right? I think we figured it out on the left-hand side.
I mean, obviously we'll have to tweak it, but I think at least we got the video of the room, right? And then it'll just be a matter of syncing it and editing it and all that other stuff. I think I'm actually going to have to go out and buy a new computer because it's funny. I was downscaling because I was doing most of my work on my iPad because, for work, it's just mainly consumption, right? And so I have a Mac Mini as my home desktop because I sized down for my laptop. And as soon as we decided to do video, I was like, oh, man, I can't. It's only got like a 256 gig drive, external, sure. But I'm like, I'm going to need to get a laptop because I'm going to need more space. I'm going to need more power to run Final Cut and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, well. So I think I'm going to buy a laptop.
I like where your headspace was at because I definitely like iPads for convenience sake and everything else. We talked about this. I remember on the ride to Maryland. It's just that right now at the current state, I don't think the iPad it couldn't do some of the things that like you said, that the laptop could do. I see it in the future, though, being able to switch one day just to have like everything, being able to go from like one to another. And then people are obviously going to make the argument of like, oh, well, Microsoft has like a fully, and it's just like.
I mean, the argument's already there because I guess Apple just launched the new M2 iPads and DaVinci Resolve's coming out for video editing on the iPad. So
that's the free program, no?
It's free, but then they also have like a $100 version that adds in a bunch of filters and effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I could hold off, and I may actually just hold off and see if I can do this one in iMovie for just the short term, and then maybe I'll hold off because this is an M1 iPad. Maybe I'll hold off and see what DaVinci Resolve looks like on the iPad. So that would actually be cool if you could do it all on an iPad.
DaVinci's good. I heard great things about it. Over the week, we were, I forget last time we talked, we went to the new manufacturing shop I think we talked about on the last episode.
Yeah, we got to catch up on that because I guess it's a little bit of a mess as usual.
So here's the thing, right? And I'm telling Joe this for the first time as well. We love the new person and everything that it comes with, but when you work with someone who's more, I guess, traditional business, you have to kind of have... There's not, how would I describe it? There's not as much room for leeway. So before we could just send it out, everyone would kind of take care of it because it's like, this is their livelihood. This was like a side thing. They're like willing to help out, but this is her business. So it's
what you're saying is we missed the deadline on graphics or something, or there was an issue with the graphics and she had to bump us out of the slot for production because she has other stuff going on. I get it.
For production, but also we had to take care of the error, whereas before it's like rather than convert it to like a vector image, like I had to go out.
Our other guy did it for us.
He took care of it. Now it's like, all right, I have to get this to a vector. The only program I had at the time was Photoshop. So then I had to go out, and then Creative Cloud I saw had a thing, was like a trial. You can get like all 50 programs of Adobe for free.
50 programs.
Yeah, listen.
What's wrong with that picture?
Yeah, and it's typically, I think, like $50 a month. But there's so many programs you have. Like,
I mean, if you're in the business, right? $50 is no big deal, and you're getting a lot of tools.
Exactly, and I think
for you and I, that's just overkill.
I think today's actually the last day my trial's up because it was last Sunday.
There's got to be an easier way to do it, though. I mean,
there's some other programs that could vectorize images and do that type of deal, but I think Illustrator is the one that I'm the most comfortable with because I worked with Illustrator in the past. So I was like, all right, I'm going to use this because it's like obviously the one I like, but my trial's running up today, and it's like, all right, now that maybe I think I got like a student discount as well, so it might be like $20, $30. But that's all white noise at this point. The production is getting, pushed through.
I mean, it's funny. We talk about this ad nauseum, it seems like, but there's always something that seems to just pop up that kind of screws up. And this is the learning experiences. I mean, I'm still very, very happy with, the work that she's been doing for us. But I get it. I mean, yeah, she's definitely running a much tighter ship than our last guy did, which is good and bad, right? And I think just were a little laissez-faire about it and got bumped. But,
I think there's a great way to put it. And
she did test the
she was testing it.
And it didn't work out very well. Wasn't that the problem, right?
So the design was too technical for what she was trying to do, so she couldn't do that specific design. So we had to. I sent her the same exact image without the butterflies within the text. So now it's just going to be the plain text, which is still what we're looking for because it's still the UV. That's the design was never like the show point. It was always like the UV that was the show point.
The color change that was the
so.
Thing, so yeah.
That's that.
So for those that are not following along, right, we are this next gen T-shirts that we're trying to get. We're using a very special graphic that has color changing properties, right? And
it's pretty cool.
But it is obviously a material that doesn't lend itself to very fine details, and of course, a lot of our graphics were pretty fine detail that could be done in the traditional sense, but not with this material. So we are actually throttling back on the complexity of the graphics, and that sort of hung us up. So that's kind of where we're at. I know we always talk T-shirts and stuff are coming, but this is kind of our test thing, and we're working out the kinks. But once we do, I think it'll be really cool.
No, I think so too. I really do. And I think the biggest thing for us always was, like we talked about this time and time again, is
doing
it right, and also like our designs are getting maybe quote unquote more simplistic, but the quality is always improving no matter what. Like the simplicity might be there, but you're getting premium everything, right? With that all being said, they are on the way. I think that we should put in our next order by the time the shirts are done, so it's just like a constant flow.
I mean, we can do that for sure.
You know what I mean? Just to kind of have that. But I think that's kind of it for the clothing talk. I don't know.
I mean, it's coming, so I mean, be patient. I know it's been a long time since our last release, but again, I think we're trying to do something that's different, and we're taking our time to get it right. So hopefully.
Once the train or the wheels or the gears are turning, it's gonna keep going. But it's always just starting that up. That's like, fuck, man.
It was cool too because I mean, she showed us some other things that she can do. So we got
some options.
We got some ideas, and it's kind of nice working with a true professional.
Yeah, and I know.
I hate to say it, but
no,
there was pros and cons as we've already talked about. So anyway, stay tuned on that. Hopefully, we'll have an update in the next week or two.
Yeah.
We'll move on from that particular topic.
Real quick,
let's talk about you.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Real quick. Have you been keeping up with the Eagles and the Phillies?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, I live in Philadelphia. How can
we have to win tonight? All right, go ahead.
We don't have to win tonight, but it would be
really
nice.
It would put us in a sense of security, which I really would want for us. And I'm obviously wearing the hat, so hopefully instead of the 2, we can make it a 3. And
it's a freaking this team's just hammering homers like they're
it's crazy.
Going out of style, man,
dude. We were down 4-0 yesterday, and I don't know. It just is like crazy, electrifying.
Stepped up and boom, and these home runs are hitting her like bombs, man.
Yes.
I mean, not these ones that are just making it over the wall. It's like 450 yard, 800 yard. It's like Jesus,
dude. I put a parlay through for the Eagles and the Phillies to win both of their championships like a couple weeks ago.
Get out.
Yeah, and it was for $2, and I think if it ends up hitting, I get like $1,000.
If they both
hit, yeah.
So if they don't have to actually win the World Series or the Super Bowl, just make it 2 of them.
No, they have to win. The
Super
Bowl,
yeah,
Super Bowl and the champion.
Yeah,
but I could always cash out. So if like the
if the Phillies make it, you can hedge your bet by
just getting out early.
Sure, whatever. I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead. That was like kind of the end of that.
No. So I mean, I got a couple things on my list, but I know one of them is what the hell's going on with you, man?
Yeah, bro. I guess that's a good question. So I got a better. Oh well, John, who came to Mario's party, who worked with the insurance side of things.
Yes.
Okay, and he just came to me and was like, "Hey, like we have a open position, and it's something that it would definitely be a step up from where you're at now." I was like, "Sure, I'll go for it." I did the interviews, they loved it, and it really was something that was just kind of like a no-brainer. Like once they talked about like some of the benefits that came with it and the responsibility and the day-to-day routine, it was like, okay, 100%, like sign me up.
So is it more of a marketing job or is it a sales job? Or
it's a bit of both. It's like the title is talent acquisition lead, but it's selling the company's image to other financial representatives to be a part of the team. Not necessarily like a recruiter, but almost in the sense where you have to meet certain, how do I put it? You have to meet certain criteria to get on part of the team. So how do I make our company look as marketable as possible?
Yeah.
What makes, you want to switch over to us, or how could I do that, and what could the better thing to do for that? So, just some of the things that we talked about, and I don't know, just some of the benefits that come with it. It's like, what, you can get like a raise at like 5% every so often, maybe 5%. It's like, or you could just take the leap and go do something that you actually want to do and have like a substantial, or like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a huge amount of upside to it. So I was like, yeah, sign me up right away.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, just, look, I mean, obviously you're just starting off, so it's going to take some time to kind of figure out what the hell you want to do and where your comfort level is. I mean, the last thing you want to do, though, is bounce from job to job to job to job to job to job. That never, ever works out well. I know so many people who, like...
No, and we talked about this, and it's something that I was like, all right, well, I've only been here for X amount of months, which is not, like, close to a year, but it's like, at the same time... Where I was at before, I was telling Ida downstairs, it's like you're like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah,
like,
no, I get it.
It's your voice is, you're limited, your growth's limited, everything's limited. And these people, at the end of the day, you're a number. What do they care about you, like any of that stuff? At the place that I'm going to now, it's like, all right, you're a substantially large a splash in the bucket, where it's like, this makes a difference for what's going on. That's like kind of what I wanted. I want to make a difference in the field that I'm in,
Cool. No, that's good. I mean, I mean, like I said, it's probably not to be unexpected, right? I mean, that's the challenge, because, you got to figure out what the hell you want to do, especially this, very beginning stages.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, so hopefully it works out. It was funny. I just caught it on LinkedIn. I was like, oh, look at this. LinkedIn. Dave Watson popped up. I was like...
I don't use LinkedIn, and my boy from my old job, he was like, hey, it still says you're working here. Like, I didn't know if that like was intentional or not. And I was like, oh, shit. I don't go on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I barely go on LinkedIn.
You will. I mean...
I will eventually.
I'm telling you.
It was just funny, though, because he's like, do you update your LinkedIn? I was like, fuck, no. I don't even touch that goddamn thing. But when I do it, you texted me like as soon as I posted it and I went to bed, woke up to a bunch of people's like they could message on it, because I was confused. I was like, how you could message when people just change it, because it wasn't a post. It was like just like an updating.
Yeah, as soon as you updated it,
it was an updating thing.
In your circle of friends. It'll come up on my wall saying, Dave's starting a new position at so and so, right? So
that's what I was.
That's how I saw it, and I was like, son of a bitch, I had to learn about this in LinkedIn. I mean, come on, man.
Sorry, man. I was keeping it under wraps, man. I didn't know, like,
Yeah, but trust me, you as you progress in the business world, you will find that LinkedIn is a very useful tool.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, so don't pass it off. It is definitely worthwhile.
But yeah, it's
for this very reason, right? Just kind of keeping up with people that maybe you haven't talked to in a while, and it opens up conversations and stuff like that.
Someone like who I haven't talked to in a while, aka
it's been like, it's been 2.5 weeks or whatever. So I mean, we were kind of getting stale.
But so I'm excited.
So I think I told you I went to Miami, right? And
you did,
yeah. It was funny. So I'm with a bunch of my coworkers. It's a big customer event, and one of my coworkers found out about this podcast. It's funny. I have never ever shied away from saying I do it, right? If someone asks, but I maybe it's just me, right? I know you're a little bit more open about it, right? Yeah. I kind of do the social media thing on Facebook where when we launch it, I put up a post saying Exclusive Minds. I don't ever say it's me, I just say Exclusive Minds podcast is up. And one of my coworkers, I guess, finally just decided to click the button. He goes, we were down there, and he's like, holy shit, I didn't know you had a podcast. And, and it got into this conversation, and I'm like, all of a sudden, everybody in the room, like, knows that I'm doing a podcast. And I was like, shit, is this good or bad, right?
No, that's good. It makes you feel like the center of attention, right?
Look, I mean, like I said, I didn't hide from it. I'm not the one, I'm not the guy who's out there like, yeah, look at me. I got a 40 episode podcast in the bag, right? But it came up, and I was like, it was so funny because I was like, holy shit, it took 40 episodes for someone to actually finally realize that I'm doing a podcast.
Damn, man. Hey, well, listen, I think people recognize the consistency. They're like, because that's a number thing I feel like that people that don't want to support, they're like, all right, we're going to support this guy for 2 episodes, and then it's just going to fizzle out. It's like, dang, we're 41 deep, man. Like, there has to be some level of like momentum and something being built, something being established that's like, all right, I have to respect that no matter what, because that's 41 hours of talking or 41 hours anything,
Yeah.
But that's cool. Did he say anything like more about it? He was just like kind of just like
no. I guess the episode he listened to was the one where I said I became an Uber driver. And so the conversation was like, what the hell was that all about? And I just explained to him that I was buying another car, and
I was like,
it was a $2,000 discount for being an Uber driver, so I signed up. I was like, why not? Right?
Damn, well, that's pretty cool.
By the way, I did one official ride, because I was so curious, and I actually did it with a guy that I work with. So it was, so it wasn't like I just picked somebody off the street or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because I probably have an NDA or some bullshit that I might have signed at some point, but screw it, right? Because no one listens to this. But you basically, I think it's like a 60-40 split. So you get 60% of the fare.
I think it's public information.
And 40% is Uber, and then you get the tip. So
sure.
I think it was like a $50 ride, and I ended up banking like $30 or something like that.
And he had so he called you and was like, hey, I'm about to place a ride, and how'd you guys set it up?
It was funny. We had an event, and he lives in Philly up in the northeast, or Bucks County. And so we get to the event, right? And I don't think twice about it, right? We show up, I meet him in the lobby, we go up, we do our presentation, lunch, and we're leaving. He goes, hey, I got to call Uber to go home. And I'm like, oh, you Uber here, right? And I was like, oh, dude, I told him the story, and I said, oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let me turn on my app and request a ride, because we were kind of in the middle of nowhere. So there's chances of like another Uber rider with senior priority over me or whatever being close by was probably slim to none.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let me turn it on, and then you can request a ride. And if you get me, I'll take you home. If not, whatever.
Yeah.
Get a ride. But
yeah. Okay.
So it pinged and it came through, and I was like, holy shit, check this out. So
damn.
I gave him a ride home, basically.
And he paid you to take him home?
Yeah.
Damn,
so
dope.
Yeah, and so like I said, I only did it because of my curiosity. I really need to delete the goddamn app because they hammer you every freaking day with pings and do this, do that. I'll come out at 7 a.m. in the morning to the Philadelphia airport and we'll give you bonus dollars. And I'm like, you know what? I got to delete the freaking app because it's kind of annoying and I'm never really going to do it. So anyway, but
that's interesting.
But yes, my coworkers have started to get some exposure to my side gig, which means I have to be a little bit more on the PC side. I can't, tell them they all suck. So Mark, MVT, you know who you are. You suck. No, I'm just kidding. He's probably won't listen to it anyway.
Well, listen, you see two things real quick. Alex Jones was sued for $1 billion.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
How much money do you think he has?
He doesn't have $1 billion.
He doesn't have $1 billion?
No, he's just he's like a social influencer. So he's probably got some bank, but he doesn't have bank.
Yeah, that's crazy. I saw that and I was like when you get sued and more for than what you have, like what happens? You just give what you have?
I don't know because I've never been sued for more than I have. I'm assuming he has to declare bankruptcy.
And then it just gets wiped?
I would think. I don't know how else. Obviously, he's never going to pay $1 billion, right? So I don't know how the hell that works. And in theory, I guess they could garnish his wages. And
Uber just sent you a notification.
Yes. Yeah, Uber Eats. It's just ridiculous. But I'm assuming he has to declare bankruptcy to sort of wipe it out or whatever, or appeal it and say, come on, this is stupid.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I saw the headline, and I thought that he wasn't worth $1 billion.
Alex Jones is, look, he's,
And Alex Jones, for people who don't know, he is the guy who said that the Sandy Hook shootings were fake or staged, essentially.
Yeah. And
now the families, several years later, or I guess it's been in the works, have officially they won, I guess, the case, and he has to pay them $1 billion, or he has to pay them $1 billion.
Yeah,
for the false accusations.
He's one of the very early kind of big time conspiracy theorist guys,
But he's had
aliens and all kinds of weird shit. It was just his stick, right? And he obviously took his stick a little too far into a very touchy subject and got nailed for it. So whatever.
Speaking of guys like Alex Jones, our boy Kanye has been going kind of crazy. He
has been
not crazy, I guess. Standing up for himself.
The last 2 weeks have been just going freaking nuts.
He's like a marketing guy now. This is he's been in the headlines. I don't know if it's intentionally.
I don't even know where to start with this. Right, so he.
Well, I have a starting point. It said, earlier today I learned that Kanye West was officially kicked out of the JP Morgan Chase Bank. I was told that there was no official reason given, but they sent him a letter to confirm that he was until late November to find another place for his Yeezy empire to bake. A whole bunch
of things.
That was just one. And then he also bought his own conservative social media platform called Parler. I'm trying to think of the list. And then, I guess Elon Musk unbanned him off of Twitter because I guess Elon Musk is he the owner officially, or are they still at a stalemate?
I don't think Elon did. I think what he said is he will when he takes over.
I don't know. I thought that Kanye was back on. Maybe he wasn't.
Well, he may be because they may have let him, but I don't think that. I mean, Musk doesn't own Twitter yet.
They still a stalemate.
It's still not official yet.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I guess he's got some influence now because it's pretty damn close. But I don't think he has the power to just arbitrarily say you're back on Twitter. But then he did the anti-Semitic shit.
Wait, what's the deal with that?
I don't even know, man. It was just, I mean, so if I follow, like he did the Tucker Carlson 2-hour interview.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago.
It was very much like when he was on Rogan for 3 hours, where you could tell like his brain just doesn't work like normal people's brains, and he was just all over the place. And then, he would go off on tangents and then dial it back in and sort of get his train of thought focused. And it was just like, oh my God, this guy's all over the place. And then I guess after that,
he went on the Drink Champs podcast.
He was getting, so I guess on his, on his DMs and stuff like that, he was getting slammed by Jay-Z and all these people, and then he started like basically
firing shots
publicly posting their DMs and saying, screw you, all this other stuff. And then at some point, I guess he was trying to pal up with, I think it was Jay-Z. And it just kind of went into this like somewhat, I mean, I don't know. I kind of read it and I was like, is this really anti-Semitic?
Well, so what does that word even mean?
Or is it just kind of stupid? I mean, I guess he was bad-mouthing Jewish people and he was talking about DEF CON.
Yeah, I saw he was saying something about Jewish people, saying how like the Jewish people killed his people, meaning like...
No. He said...
is that what he said?
He said, I can't be anti-Semitic because blacks are Jews, the original Jews, or something like that. And, if you know Kanye, right, I don't even shrug a shoulder, right? This guy's just all over the place. And sometimes his stream of thought just is very, I don't know.
Yeah,
then I read somewhere that he had like... I guess he was having to come to Jesus meeting with the Adidas people, and he had them to his, Yeezy headquarters in Los Angeles. And he made them watch a porno.
Oh, yeah. Because he thought that one guy's voice was...
And they have, like, audio of it. And it's like, what the hell? I mean, it's just, like, some wild shit.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to find...
And I think that's about the same time JP Morgan bailed on him. And I'm assuming JP Morgan's like, this dude's a live wire. Yeah. And it's only a matter of time before this shit explodes on us. So let's just cut the cord and just move on and be done with it, right? I'm assuming that's what it is. Because JP Morgan, I don't think, is one of those... sort of mega woke banks. But.
No, I don't think it was even that. I think it's just like it's the same thing that kind of happened with Tate. Like once one of them starts kind of pulling out because JP Morgan
it's a ripple effect.
JP Morgan wasn't the first one to do it, but let me see because there was.
So the wild thing is though, I'm really wondering what the hell's going to happen with.
Well, that's the other thing. Remember I sent you the link? They're starting to get rid of some of the stuff at Gap. Like they're really discounting it, which typically isn't like for them to do to a Yeezy products. Like it was like 45% off of Yeezy hoodies or something like that.
Which they never do.
They never do. So it was like, is this like the start of what could be the end of, the Yeezy brand at Gap? Like not probably in general, but definitely at Gap. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of wild. I think this thing's going to run out. Yes. I'll tell you what, keep talking.
Okay.
You guys all get to see what happens when you don't plan accordingly. So the camera's going to run out of battery, so I got to figure out some way to jack this battery into it. So
all right, well, I'll talk. I got stuff to talk. No, you're good. So over the week, Call of Duty just came out. For the people who don't know, big, heavy Call of Duty fanatic. They came out with the multiplayer or the campaign earlier. The multiplayer launches next week. The campaign was absolutely fantastic. This is like the most realistic kind of movie-esque graphics are off the charts COD that we've had to date. Out of 10, I'm probably rating it like a solid 8.5, high 8, like I don't know, between an 8.5 and a 9. I think it was really good. Definitely looking bright for the future of gaming and stuff like that. Who knows? But yeah, that's kind of all that really happened with me over the weekend. Are you trying to charge it while... I see what you're trying to do. Got you. But yeah, that was pretty dope. And then, obviously, the Eagles playing the Steelers next week. That's another huge thing coming up. Huge game. I got my boy Mike Toscani, who I'm going to watch that one with, who's a Steelers fan.
That should have worked.
Is we good?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out the hard way. It's still recording, though the battery's not showing as... well, anyway, we'll figure it out. This is growing pains. We'll figure it out.
Who knows? You might not even see anything from the recording.
I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't smart enough to actually just make sure the camera was fully charged before we started this whole thing. I just assumed that it was because it's been like
it's all good.
2 weeks since I last touched, and it was like 50%. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, GoPros are known for their notorious battery life.
Yeah, they suck apparently. So, well, what's really funny is that handle or the tripod is a battery. So I'm like, between the two of them, you'd think it's got enough juice to go. And so I don't know. Maybe I'll get it dialed in.
No, who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, so that's kind of like the weekend that I've had.
So Call of Duty is looking good.
Call of Duty's looking really good.
First time in a while, right?
Yeah, first time in a while. We had, what's it called? The most developers on a single game since ever. This is the biggest game they've had to date. Most developers, which is always a good sign, 2-year life cycle. So hopefully they can keep it up. But my problem with that is like once you have so many things going on at one time, even though you have a lot of developers, when the game starts to get stale or there's updates needing to be required, the fat's going to get trimmed somewhere. And that makes me think, since they have so many things going on, where is that going to come from? Is that going to come from the overall quality of life of the game? Maybe some of the less played game types in it? Because there's like a plethora of things to play. Campaign, spec ops, multiplayer, ranked play, zombies maybe. So there's so many different things. It's like, where is the fat going to get trimmed from, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's some part that they can't keep up with everything. Or maybe they can. Who knows? Prove us wrong. Warzone, DMZ. There's so many things.
They probably have a serious budget for it. So.
Yeah, I imagine. I see like every time I turn the television on these days, it's
I guess the
there.
cool thing is we can do show and tell now that we got like video. So have you seen this thing?
No, what is that?
So this is just freaking smoking. So this is the Steam Deck.
Oh, okay. Joe handed me something that looks like a
gigantic Nintendo Switch
or Switch. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that is the Steam Deck.
So you can play any Steam game on here.
Any Steam game.
Steam game,
which is basically like any game on the planet, right? So
you can play Call of Duty from this thing.
You could. I am playing Elden Ring on that.
No,
freaking Elden Ring, right? So I mean, if you know anything about Elden Ring, right, it is seriously a maxed out game with graphics galore.
Yeah.
And it runs on this thing. It is amazing.
Like, do they have there's no way they have like a graphics card in that, do they?
It's a specialized NVIDIA chip.
Huh.
I think it's an NVIDIA chip.
Sure.
But it's a full-blown PC. I mean, they've actually got people who have disassembled it, and they
You're pretty impressed by it, huh?
They'll do things. Yeah, I mean, I had to get it. Well, actually, I put it. It's one of those things that's been on order for a while.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, you can see the graphics aren't that bad.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and Elden Ring, as you know, is a serious game.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say it's a huge game.
It plays fabulous on it.
So how'd you download it?
Yeah, you just go to the Steam store. So I mean,
same way as you would.
Yeah, So, but you can. This is the only game I'm really playing at this point. But any Steam game, and for the most part, that's pretty much almost any desktop game.
Nice.
It has to be optimized for it. So not every game. Like I don't know about Call of Duty specifically, but
yeah. Interesting, very cool stuff, man. I mean, I think the PSP was ahead of its time. They had that back in the day, and you could play like Ratchet and Clank. I remember, like very like kind of like low res, not high juicy games. But that, I mean, you're playing Elden Ring.
Really?
Elden Ring's like
I was on the airplane the other day, and I was like playing Elden Ring. I was like, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I got it. I was just like, shit, with all the traveling I'm doing, I want to play Elden Ring.
Yeah,
so.
Sure. I mean, you were playing what's it called, Dying Light 2 for a long time.
Well, I mean, Dying Light's available for it. Shadows of Mordor. I mean, a lot of the games I played in the past you can all get them on this. So now I'm like, oh, okay, here it comes. I mean, do I buy it on the Xbox or do I buy it on the Steam? In this case, I ended up buying them both. I was like, shit, I just spent like $120 on Elden Ring, right? $60 on each platform because you can't. You can't use one and the other, which sort of sucks because that would have been nice.
Yeah, now the games, the games are starting to get an increase in price. They're now from 60 to 70 due to a number of reasons, but yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of It's kind of a bummer, man. I remember, and the same thing with Arizona teas. Arizona teas used to be 99 cents. Now they're $1.29. I'm upset about that, bro.
Well, guess what? That's the world we live in these days. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Hey, did you see? I guess Facebook is Meta, whatever the hell they want to call themselves. They're tanking big time because of this Horizon World, Meta World bullshit.
No, I didn't see that. What's going on?
Well, I mean, I guess they're investing billions and billions and billions of dollars into this Horizon World, which is like their Decentraland or their VR world, and no one's adopting it. I didn't even know it was out until I saw a business news report talking about how they spent like $10 billion and it's gone absolutely nowhere.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's pretty sick. I mean, good for the other people, but Facebook, yeah, I mean, I think the whole ploy of they're trying to be something that they were not. Like, Facebook was a social media platform. They switched everything to Meta, and that was just kind of out of left field. I think they were just trying to be an earlier adapter of it. But the one thing you can't create is culture. You can't create, like, you could try your best to revolve around culture, but when you try to, hey, this is how it's going to go, it's like, no, that's not. People adapt in their own ways. So, I mean, it's the same thing with like the Decentraland and Sandbox. Like, those were two of the forerunners of it, and then people eventually fall off. I mean, I have a similar article, but except instead of Meta, it's Apple decreasing production for the iPhone 14, 14 Plus, I guess, because of a number of reasons.
But that's not a bad thing because everybody's buying the Pro version.
This is the Plus?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, I seen that, and I also seen one other thing. Let me think what it was. Oh my God!
That Apple thing's kind of weird because what they ended up doing was they obviously announced like they've always done, right?
I know what it was.
They have the iPhone 14 and then they have the iPhone 14 Pro.
Yeah.
And in this launch, I think what they did is they released the Pro like 2 weeks earlier, right? So if you're one of those junkies who just has to have like
top
I gotta
line.
have the phone day one, right? You're not gonna wait around for the cheaper one. Mm-hmm. So everybody bought the Pro, and so I think what they're doing is they're basically just scaling back the cheap one, and it's brilliant marketing, right? I mean, it really is.
It is, but at the same time, I think people are realizing that, like, I had the same issue with before, and I think a lot of people might be coming to the realization is, like, we've talked. What the hell was that?
The camera just died. Which is weird because, I mean, oh, man.
It says battery low. I don't know if it died or not.
It's dead. The
dead?
Battery is absolutely dead, but I'm trying to figure out why because it's got the battery in it.
Yeah, weird. Anyway,
so we're only going to have a 30-minute video podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you want to do that.
I don't know. We could pause right.
Yeah, all right, let's take a pause. Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to go to the bathroom while you do it.
Oh, I think we were like 34 minutes in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so everybody who's still with us here, this is part of that new video, Growing Pains. So the battery died and had to try and figure out how to get it started again. So this is going to probably test my editing skills since I'm not used to mashing audio and video together when they're being recorded separately. I'm going to fix that in the future. But yeah, anyway. So yeah.
What were we talking about? I forget what we were talking about. Oh, we were talking. Okay, so another thing besides Apple was the college, like it was the college tuition or college enrollment maybe. It went down over the past couple months, I think, and it was talked about by Gary Vee, and Gary Vee had a good analogy of it, saying how like college being the business and how typically in traditional fashion, if a business doesn't have anything new or productive to offer to their clients, then you start to see a decline over time. So we're starting to see that potentially now, and I don't know what study he got that from, so I can't really speak on, this was said by so and so, but I just thought it was very interesting because we talked. That was like another talking point that me and you had going on here. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's becoming it's becoming more commonplace in conversation. Is college really worth it?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's one of those things where when I was at my old job, they had someone in our crew that didn't actually have a college diploma. There was one person who didn't have a college diploma. Everyone else did, and it's like we were looking around. We're like, well, how did this person get in if they didn't have anything? But we had to go, it's like, do they even care about that type of deal? Or were they pressed for time? I think it's just really like a situational thing, whereas now kind of going to a position of a different position, these people 100% were like, we need to see like your you know, kind of get more specific. So
yeah, well, I mean, we could relitigate this, right?
I know, but
I mean, it depends on what you want to do in life, right? If it's
absolutely,
if you're not really sure, or a general business degree is just crap. I mean, it's meaningless. Right?
Absolutely, yeah, no, for sure.
And that could be argued, but yeah, I think so. It doesn't surprise me. That's a trend that is starting to occur.
Yeah, so this was it. It was wrote by AXIOS by Aaron DeHardy. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, there's a million of these freaking think tanks and stuff like that do these things and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But did you see the owner of the guy who invented Red Bull died the other day?
No, he did. How did he die?
Apparently he just had health issues for quite some time. It's rumored that this guy drank 10 cans of Red Bull a day.
I mean, talk about health issues, right? Like,
yeah, you gotta think.
Like what? I mean, man. That doesn't.
I used to love that crap back in my day. I really did.
I used to like Red Bull too. It was so like glorified as like, oh my God, you're drinking Red Bull, like over like a monster that's kind of like seen as more like trashy, I guess you could say. Like Red Bull was like had this prestige to it. They had, F1 cars. They have their surfing team, or all the stuff, right?
All the crazy.
But
sports.
now it's like you kind of come to find out that even Red Bull sugar free's still garbage for you. Some of the stuff that they're putting in that it's garbage.
I don't like the taste of the sugar free. It's really weird. I mean, normally like
I prefer the sugar free actually.
Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, the one with the sugar I think tastes more like Pez candy, kind of liquid Pez candy.
Okay.
I don't know. The diet one for me just sort of tastes funny, but.
Yeah, I always preferred the sugar-free one, but then when they came out with the tropical flavors, I really enjoyed. I think it was the yellow can, the summertime can. That was really good.
It's hard.
But I don't know. It's like once you learn about something, you're like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want any part of any of that garbage going in my body at all.
Drink water.
Water and coffee. That's kind of it. I mean, even coffee's up for debate. People are like, oh, that's the number one drug, caffeine. It's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna go out and it's buy coffee, it's okay, whatever it is.
I don't buy that, but yeah. Coffee's fine.
Yeah, I've been drinking coffee since I was like 2 or 3 years old, bro.
Coffee. Cheers,
man. With the
It's all about the coffee.
Yeah, I also when we took the quick break, I wanted to look up who else also pushed Ye over to the side, and it was Vogue magazine. Actually, was one of the ones who because he's in.
Oh yeah.
He's in fashion.
He was in a Twitter spat with. There was a woman.
Anne, I think her name was, or something like that.
I don't even know. But yeah, it was just it was like a week-long like soap opera, and I was like, holy mackerel, man.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And the thing is, I still at this point do not know whether or not Adidas and him are separating, or if it's just all talk
I think there's a lot more deeper-rooted connection between Adidas and Kanye than just like I don't think they could just sever ties. Like, I feel like if Gap were to try to do that...
Adidas came out and publicly said, hey, we're reevaluating our relationship with him, right? So I'm like, okay. That's why... Because they're probably sitting there going, we got to get rid of this freaking guy.
I think that's why it's a lot deeper.
But at the same time, I'm like, that sells a shitload of shoes. Speaking of shoes, right? But I mean, it's funny. Ever since this whole thing exploded, like his clothes and his shoes have been hitting the freaking... the wire like every friggin' minute, right? So I literally... have in the last 18 days have won 3 pairs of shoes, and I didn't even really think I was going to. And I'm like, I hit them all, and I was like, oh shit, that's like $650 in shoes. I don't want those, and so I'm like, now I'm thinking,
right here?
Those are the boots. Not the boots, but yeah, they're like they're like boots.
No, I like the 500s. I have a pair.
I don't have one, so I'm going to keep those because these are more wintery.
What the hell? No, I don't have these. I have the low top versions of these exact ones.
Yeah, that's the high top ones, right?
Pretty sick,
for the winter, man, I was like, I got to get a pair of those.
They're like combat boots.
Yeah. They're nice. They're super nice. Good color and everything.
High. Okay, yeah. So I have this exact one
in low
top, right? Yeah. Pretty sick. Nice.
Yeah, but I hit those. I hit the 450s, and I hit the 350s with the silver and the black stripe. Those two haven't arrived yet, but I'm like, oh man, it's funny. I'm pissed that I actually, I put in the win, and I'm mad that I actually hit on all 3 of them.
Yeah, good for you, man.
I don't
first world problems,
bro. Well, yeah, tell me about it. I mean, Jesus Christ.
No, I saw on some of the reselling things that his shoe prices are actually dropping on the reselling things, but they're more, I guess, because they're coming out so frequently, like you said, like 3 in the past 18 days. That's mean, before how often would they come out? Like every few months?
Yeah,
like,
it was every
it was
like
like
month and a half or whatever.
Yeah, it was like spread out. Now you're starting to see that. In other news, actually, believe it or not, in crypto news, Quant is coming back.
Yawn fest there, man.
It's coming back. We've seen. I care what I have a stake in this thing, man. It's like what.
Who cares?
My stake.
You got like $300 in it. Come on.
My stake's coming back. Okay, listen.
It's a pair of shoes. Who cares?
My stake's coming back. It was at $70. Now it was last week or this weekend, Friday, $220.
Oh,
so a little triple in value.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
Because the crypto market is just such a yawn fest. Bitcoin is a total yawn fest. It's literally been like 19 to 20 grand for, it seems like an eternity now.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the mainstream coin. Like it's I looked at the altcoins, all the ones that I own personally, and
they're all tanks still though. Like,
not this one.
I don't know, man.
You got to check it out.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
What's it called? Quant
QNT is the ticker. We're getting a live reaction to Joe.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We can keep going because I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. I'm just,
you out of the cryptos altogether, man?
Yeah, it's a total bore fest to me, and I never got it, and when it tanked, I didn't get it anymore. It's funny though. So I just pulled up the list, and they're all year to date.
What's the year to date?
There literally is not a single one that is below like 70% down. Yeah. Right. Tron 38 down 38%. Yeah. That's a performer.
Was it last year or was it the year before that everything was at the all-time high of like everything?
Yeah. So
last year or 2 years?
It's a combination both. What's the central line? Because it's been a long time since I've
Meta.
No. I mean what was the coin I had? Decentraland, right?
Yeah. Isn't it Meta or?
Yeah, Meta. Yeah. So that's down. Oh, it's only down 22%. That's actually been performing well, but it's trading at 60 cents. And when I bought it, it was like $3. Yeah. So
well, there you go. I mean, you have
year to date, so that means it got crushed even before the year to date numbers.
Yeah.
What the hell you said? Quant, right?
Quant. QNT.
I think you're lying.
Check it out.
I'm going to call your bluff here.
All right, go check it out. If it is at anything, it would probably be at 180 right now.
I can't find Q. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oops. Fuck. Oh, my God. So what did you think of the fights? Did you catch any?
I did. So the top three is the ones that I seen. Sugar's, I caught the tail end, so not technically the top three.
So he's got some skills, man. He performed. It doesn't even show up on my list, so it means it's not even like a top 1,000 coin. So
that's cap. The market cap's on it. QNT is the money sign QNT.
Yeah, I can't find it. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I watched Sugar's. He's got some skills. He was also fighting.
Dude, he took some hits, man. Holy
I didn't watch. Like I said, I didn't really watch it. I just from what I've heard from other people.
Fight. It was a good.
Was
fight.
Good.
Oh yeah.
I heard he got he didn't deserve to win, but he got the win.
Yeah, I mean it was a split decision. It could have went either way. I mean, honestly, they were rocking each other. I mean, there was times where he got drilled with a freaking punch.
Yeah.
And then he turned around and basically kicked him in the head like 2 seconds later, and I was just like, damn, these dudes are going back and forth. It was a good fight. I mean, yeah.
I like the other dude as well because he trains with Adesanya, and he's a tough opponent. I know that for a fact, but this was Sugar's first like real
fight against real
true
opponent.
Like
true
that
opponent. Dude was like ranked number. Was he ranked number 1?
He was up there.
Yeah, so I mean, legit performance for someone who I don't think anybody thought would do it. So I'm
because he has it's like you have like someone who has a lot of hype versus someone who has a lot of skills, and I think he's starting to kind of equal out that. You know. Now the next one was also another good fight. Talk about like this guy. I forget the guy's name, but his shoulder kept dislocating every round. They fought 2 rounds, and each round within the first 20 seconds or 30 seconds, his arm kept getting dislocated or shoulder kept getting dislocated. And I was like, how the hell is he managing to stay in this thing? I could imagine the excruciating pain that's going through like when your arms are like locked in and someone just punching that same spot over and over again. That was insane.
Yeah, I think they say that once you dislocate once, it becomes
it's like a problem.
Far more common.
Yeah. Well, he said during his training camp, it kept popping out. Like he popped out like 20 times. He said. So it's like, well, now like how are you moving forward? But the other guy, Sterling, obviously he deserved that one. And then the main event,
the Islam fight was pretty. That dude, I mean,
Islam
and that crew is
Charles.
Yeesh.
Yeah, so
because Oliveira is no joke, and he wrecked him.
Oliveira, yeah, the Brazilian.
wrecked him.
He's known for the most submissions in the UFC, and then obviously Islam has Khabib in his corner. So very, very tough opponents. And I think it was DC that was the one that said, he was like, listen, I think they spent close to $1 million preparing for this fight alone. So it's like, when you mix
you mean training costs and stuff like that?
Yeah, like his whole camp and everything.
Yeah.
And when you mix that type of deal with these guys that know exactly what to train and how to train it, and have been in this situation before, it's deadly combo. So being able to see that, I mean, me personally, I was going for Charles. I loved like his whole story of how he like kind of started off, was kind of like not the best fighter, but he always had like gusto. That was like the thing that kept him going.
Yep.
And yeah, so I don't know. And now Islam challenged Volk. Mars, I don't even know how to say his last name, but the guy Volk.
Kazmat
Volk,
yeah, the Russian, yes,
Australian gentleman.
Yeah, they're actually, I think they're fighting.
They are fighting. He brought him in the ring and
like
set that up.
Happened right there.
Well, because Khabib was like, this is like the best pound for pound fighter, and then we wanted to get the other best pound for pound fighter. I mean, Volk's coming up a weight class, so there's obviously the technicalities in that in itself, like going up a weight class. You obviously have to. Cut him some slack, but he's an incredibly skilled opponent. I think that's going to be a banger of a fight. I don't know when that's going to come on, but I don't know. The UFC's been hot right now, man. They got 280 in the bag. That was a fantastic card. And then 281's got Adesanya versus I don't know his name.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, just draw blank.
The Brazilian guy as well, who's, tough as nails, literally treated the guy who was in the 4th spot in under a round.
It's totally better than boxing, which is just completely just taking a shit on itself. I mean,
was there a boxing event that just happened? I think so, right? With it just happened literally like last weekend.
Yeah, what's his name? Wilder.
Wilder won.
He knocked that dude out in the first freaking round. Just clocked him, and I thought he killed him.
I think Wilder and Andy, whatever his name is,
Ruiz.
Ruiz. Sorry, we're terrible with names, but you know what we're trying to say. Andy Ruiz versus Wilder. I think Wilder's going to win that one. Maybe get a Tyson Wilder 4. Who knows?
I mean, it's
I think that's going to happen.
That's the problem. I mean, everybody wants to see the Joshua fight, and it's never going to happen because he's a wuss.
Yeah, basically.
I am absolutely not surprised. Right? We talked about this on a whole bunch of podcasts. Right? He's afraid to fight him because he knows that if he loses, his career's over.
Yeah.
But now he's going to end up fighting who's he fighting now? Joshua's fighting some other guy who's up and coming, and I'm like, he's going to get his ass kicked by that dude too, and then he's going to miss out on the big bank that he would have made because Tyson was going to give him a 60-40 split, which is kind of unheard of for a champion. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just, I wanted to see that fight, and now I'm just kind of bitter and jaded. I'm like, yeah, Chris, you guys just
they ruined it. And then we also have that Jake Paul fight coming up, and the more I think about it and everything, I'm very curious because...
When is that? Didn't that already happen? Didn't that?
No, that's November. And I'm curious about it because if he loses, and I ask Mikey this all the time, I'm like, what if he loses? Like, that's his thing right now. It's like he's undefeated, and that's kind of what people want to see. They want to see him go at guys that...
Well, people want to see him get his ass.
They want to see him lose, right? And then what happens when he goes up against Silva, and, if he loses, what's the next step from there?
I think it's going to come down to how he loses.
Okay, so if it's a decision, then obviously he has another chance. But if he gets knocked out or something like that, like where does he go from there?
He probably doesn't, and then he stumbles back to his social media career. I guess I don't know. I mean,
right? You know what I mean, though. And then
I don't know. I mean,
because that's a guy who's solely based on hype right now. Like if he loses,
I guess the reality
then
is we'll find out whether or not he's really serious about his boxing career. Because if he does lose, and and he just folds like a deck of cards, and that's the end of it. That kind of sucks. But if he loses and then says, you know what, I'm going to double down and really focus and train and comes back and beats somebody else, who knows?
I mean, you're still fighting the late Anderson Silva. I mean, obviously Silva is great. We already talked about this. But the thing is like if you compare him to another fighter, like who's like Mike Tyson, for example, right? Not comparing the two skill-wise or anything, but when Tyson lost, Tyson's going against actual boxers, actual guys who are trying to like clobber, knock this guy's head off. Like you're seeing him at his best versus another guy at his best. They're going at it. Here it's like if he loses, because he's not going against real boxers. I feel like if he were to go against someone, quote unquote, real boxers, if he was to go at someone who's actively competing, someone, whoever it is, and loses that way, it would be almost more respectable, because it's like, all right, you could lose to that person, but at least you're going at people who are, in the ring all the time. You're going at guys, you're calling out UFC fighters and everyone outside, like, let's go at the meat and potatoes here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Well,
I guess your boy,
only time will tell.
Your Deji boy's going to fight.
He's
fighting.
I don't know
Mayweather,
about that.
Right?
I honestly don't know where, how, or what came about. I'm assuming KSI turned down the fight. He was probably like, no, I don't want to fight him. I could imagine that came about, because why would they go for KSI's younger brother, who already has lost like 3 fights in a row, or lost 3 and then won 1? Wow. Doesn't make any sense. I saw the press conference.
For the money. I mean, we already talked about it. It's all it is.
But, I mean, we saw the press conference. The press conference was, them two joking around. I love Deji. I'm glad that he's, like, joking around with Mayweather. But when they're during their press conferences, like, all the questions are, like, directed to Mayweather, because that's the guy, right?
Well,
like,
yeah. He'll end up carrying him for, most of the fight, if not the entire fight, just to... Yeah,
and it was one of those things where Floyd was asked, like, why do you keep doing these exhibitions, and how do you determine how strong you're going in the ring? And he's like, the first round I just throw out my glove and I'll let the opponent hit it and see how hard they're hitting it, and that'll determine how I'm going to go the rest of the fight. So it's like, if they're not giving 100%, then you're not getting 100% Floyd, right? So I don't know. That's kind of my 2 cents on it. I don't know how this came about, but will I be watching? Sure. Will I buy the fight? Probably not, but I'll watch it.
It's nice with being over in the Middle East. It was like the UFC stuff was like at 2:00 in the afternoon.
That was fantastic. I love awesome. That. I love that. Yeah,
it wasn't like 1:00 in the morning or some shit. Like when it's in Vegas. It's this is awesome.
No, I would take that 2:00 any time of the week, man. Like, I know some people work on the weekends.
I know, as old guys, I can't stay up that late. Jesus Christ, I barely can make it up for the Phillies game last night.
The 2:00 fight was nice. I did enjoy that. Yeah. But yeah, who knows? We'll see. What is it? Who else is fighting? I'm trying to think now.
I don't know.
Logan Paul's getting back into the ring after his UFC or WWE thing. That'll be interesting. And KFC's both fighting on the same night. That should be a good card. I don't know who they're fighting. They didn't announce it, but that'll be a huge event.
Yep.
I'm excited to see that.
Yep.
How's taking notes been, by the way? Have you been?
I had a couple.
But I know you have. I'm just saying, like, do you feel like your train of thought and keeping like an eye out for things, like when you go about your daily routines, been like kind of like better for taking notes, or how have you been liking it?
No, I'm still challenged to do it. Every once in a while, something will like really strike a note, and if I'm sitting at my desk, like looking at the internet, it's easy for me to just drop it into a notes real quick. But if I'm walking around or I'm in the car and I'm like, oh, that would be cool, I have a hard time.
Okay. Real quick, I have one last story I guess I could talk about, because it just popped up to the top of my head. So I didn't tell you, but I've been kind of working with this streamer's team. He's a big streamer, and his team reached out to me because I messaged them a while back, and his team is like this one guy who I've been keeping a point of contact with. He's a huge streamer, top streamer, and a Twitch streamer, that is. And we've been going back and forth because on my Instagram bio it says it's like creative director for Exclusive Minds, but he saw the creative director part and he reached out to me and he was like, hey, would you be down to like help us come up with ideas for streams? And I was like, yeah, of course, like absolutely. He was like, we'll pay you whatever to do it. And I'm like, I don't even necessarily like want the money. That's like kind of like a bonus. I just like want the direct line of contact with who the guy is, because he's huge guy.
Something doesn't sound
so
right.
Listen. So
I'm sorry. You lost me already. Because
but listen. So listen. So, everything's been good, and it's actually the guy. Like, I talked to him and everything. It's actually him, because I know his voice.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, like a couple weeks pass, and then we keep constantly talking every single day. Everything's good. He keeps asking me for ideas every single day. Like, we're talking, giving ideas, but every time he asks, I give him something, and then he'll be like, "Oh, it's cool," or "That's good." Like,
so he's just fishing for ideas.
So
take them and then run with them and forget you and leave you kind of by the side of the road.
Exactly. So then,
that makes
just
sense.
yesterday, I noticed over the past week he used one of them, like one of mine. Like, I was like, this never happened before, and then all of a sudden I mentioned it, and now it's happening on the guy's stream. I'm like, okay, whatever. Could be coincidence. Didn't think much of it. I texted him. I was like, hey, is he doing this? No response. I was like,
that's
and then so then yesterday, I heard him mention another idea, and he was like, oh, the streamer was like, yeah, we booked this thing for this day. Like, this is what's gonna happen. And I was like, that's another one that I came up with because of the certain time that it is. So,
like, how hard is it? I mean, honestly, and you weren't even asking for money, man. So just give a shout out to the brand.
So
right? I mean, that's a dick move.
I messaged him yesterday, and I was like, hey, man, like, don't want to start no beef. I just want to be kept in the loop. Like, what's going on? What's going on here? And he just was like, what was your idea? And then I told him, I was like, this one and this one. No response.
Unbelievable.
Last night, and then until this morning, I
just tell him to give you a shout out, man. Just say, dude, just give us a shout out.
Like,
man.
I just want the direct line of contact with the dude, because the dude, I don't think he's having any ill intent. Like, yo, don't give anyone a shout out. I think it's just like the middleman's just taking all the money that he's getting paid, and then that's kind of it. Like, he's presenting the ideas to him, and he's liking the ideas, obviously using them, and he's just like, all right, like, you know, that's kind of the end of it.
So, I mean, when you say he's a streamer, is he just streaming playing video games, or?
It's IRL content. He averages like 60,000 viewers.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Huge.
Yeah,
huge
no,
dude.
I mean, I get it. I just, it's got to be such a meat grind. I mean, I think about it, and I'm like, God damn, like, yeah. You got to come up with shit like every
And I have
day.
Bro, me and Mikey and this kid Gio, we're constantly going back and forth because we were like stoked. We're like, bro, this guy like reached out, like he had a huge deal, like multi-millionaire, like obviously can afford to have a whole team surrounding him. He has this one point of contact.
Let's talk about teams, because I mean, I don't know if these guys have teams, because I still watch the Full Send guys, and so I watch. I generally listen to it on Apple Podcasts, right? So I don't see videos, but when I'm on Instagram, they have clips, and I'm like, they're interviewing all the dudes in for this latest UFC fight,
yeah, I saw that,
I'm like, wait a second, these guys have like handheld mics, like they're interviewing guys, and the guys have to hold the mic, and I'm like, where's the production value with these guys? They got to be making some serious money.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh,
and it's shit. I mean, like, people come like, you know, and it's bad. You know, like, dude, you could like pay for some nice mics.
Yeah. Or
come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I got to be making some. I mean, you got millions of followers, and you can't afford good audio or a good freaking studio, dude.
It comes down to like, do you actually care? Like, do you care? Like, not you. I'm saying, do they care about what they're putting out, or do they just want to like sit there and interview them just for like shits and gigs? Because like,
I don't know. I mean,
we'll talk.
Jesus Christ, did that thing just die again?
No, it says camera's too hot and then powered off.
Fucking GoPro, you suck. I mean, how the hell could a camera overheat? It's been sitting there. I mean, not even 40 minutes and it's overheating? Holy shit. Live in living color. This son of a bitches. Oh my god.
Do you have choice words for GoPro?
Well, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean,
we weren't even doing nothing. How do they record with that?
What am I supposed to do? Put a goddamn gigantic fan on it, for Christ's sake? I mean,
that's crazy. Maybe because the battery thing, and it's like trying to charge while.
I don't know, man. I guess. All right.
So
in fairness, it's the first attempt, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But you got to be shitting me.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Real quick, to wrap up on that video. Did you end up watching the whole thing, or you were just like, nah, I don't want to get too angry?
You mean the
police one, the one with the police versus like like his quote unquote solution to help like what?
Oh,
bro, when you were texting me that, I was like cheesing the whole time. I was like, bro, he's gonna fucking hate this video.
I only listened to part you told me about. I don't even remember I don't know who the dudes are. Right? It was a black guy and a white guy.
Yeah.
And I think the white guy was supposed to be like an ultra.
So the guy. So what it was the guy who he's talking to, he was talking about, he's a socialist, I think they're called.
The white guy was a socialist. Okay.
And then the other gentleman, he was someone who was like, listen, I lived in these areas. Like, if there's
he's from Atlanta, and that was the beef about defunding the police. And
he was basically saying like if there's a certain area, I'm gonna learn not to go down there because but he was just like, if we build like YMCA's and stuff like that this will stop the problems essentially. And he was like,
no, that was the white guy that was saying that,
white guy
right?
was
and then
saying,
the black guy's like, no, and then the black guy was like total racist. It was the funniest thing. Like, does this guy realize he's sort of like, his whole premise was, inner city violence isn't going to change, and if you put a YMCA there, it's not going to change, and it was. I wish it's not fresh on my mind, but I was like, holy shit, this guy's like.
Kind of
racist.
I think the point behind putting YMCA's there were like not just YMCA's, but just rec centers in general. It's to build a sense of like community and keep that. Always... It makes sense. But his other point was like, I don't want to take out all police, but most police should be out of the picture. It's like,
well, in a perfect world, that's true, but it's not a perfect world, and it never will be. That's the challenge, right? Humans are not perfect beings.
It's to keep honest people honest, right? That's kind of like the whole thing,
Yeah. So, it's never going to happen. So,
but yeah, I don't know. I send that to you, just kind of like seeing your thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, you know how to push my buttons when it comes to that political shit. But I mean, I was listening to it, and I was just like, I don't know. I mean, it was weird. It was just a weird conversation because, like, the one dude's like. You could tell he's like, I want to defund the police and let's just send in social workers and stuff like that. And then he's like saying, well, I don't really want to defund the police. And then the other guy, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this guy's going to be like, and he just was rattling off how like urban America is shit and it's never going to be better. And that's just ingrained into the culture. And I'm like,
You're
whoa,
this is like, sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, dude, you, what? That doesn't, what?
Yeah. Maybe we should do a reaction to that. That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if this freaking camera would last more than 45 minutes, I can't believe it.
No, it's all good. But I think first one back, good in the bag.
Overheated.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not happy about that.
We'll see. I think it's good though, right? Can you add the video to Spotify?
Yes, now you can.
Sweet, good deal.
So it'll be up on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify as a video podcast. It'll be on Apple as just an audio podcast.
Audio,
I'll do the audio right away because that's easy, but I can stitch that together. The video I have to figure out. Especially,
I'm very curious to see how that's going to come out because I always was curious as to how the uploads and everything because you told me that they weren't big files, but like without knowing, they would be like I would think that these would be humongous files, right?
No, after you do the compression and stuff like that, I mean it's
not that bad.
It's not a monster file. Now the video, I have no idea. I mean,
that's what I'm curious about. I don't know.
I mean, a 45-minute 4K video is probably seriously big.
It's in 4K.
I think so, and that might be the reason why it overheated because we could probably do 1080.
I was going to say just lower it to 1080. We don't need 4K.
And that might have helped the battery as well as overheating.
Yeah, 4K is crazy. I couldn't even imagine.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, sure.
I'm pissed.
Episode 41 in the bag. We might have some guests coming up. I ran them through you. You told me about the one. I didn't really know too much about.
Yeah, well, it was just
kind of shady, right?
Yes.
But the other one's supposed to be a good guest. He's local. Locally, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always up for guests. I just, the one the one with the website with the,
kind of sounded a little bit weird, which is true. Who knows? But yeah, episode 41 in the bag. Thank you so much for watching, listening.
Awesome.
Call to action, follow, share this with a friend or friend
on all the
companion.
Services, please. We need the likes and tell us
pouring out here.
What you think of the video? Since you can't see me because we're waving bye to you because our GoPro overheated. So I apologize. The last 10 minutes of this podcast is a blank screen. Sons of bitches.
Yeah, maybe GoPro will sponsor the next one. All right, guys.
All right, later. Peace out.